I think Ghislaine Maxwell is key to this entire thing. I've said this before. Yeah, and of course her dad, and yeah, they found. I think they killed him. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? They found him dead, drowned supposedly, even though we don't know either way.
Hmm.
But I think she's more key than Epstein on this. Am I barking up the wrong tree?
It's a tough call. She's not on the CFR, but at the same time, she's able to procure a lot of these young girls and women. And remember, there are some people that don't need to be blackmailed just because they've been with a child or someone underage. You know, maybe they have a family. Maybe they don't want to get divorced. Maybe they don't want their wife to get a video of them with a 22 or 23-year-old prostitute. That could have been her ring. At the same time, she set up dummy organizations as ways to pay people without it being known it was coming from Epstein. So, a partner probably at the very least, and I would say she was more than likely some type of an intelligence asset as well. I don't think you're barking up the wrong tree, but I think a lot of people are kind of just underestimating Epstein's role because of his perverse appetite.
Man, let me tell you, that's just disgusting stuff. I want your thoughts real quick on the Trump involvement on this. Completely your opinion.
Hmm.
It's all speculation here. That's all we got. We can solidify relationships. We can solidify, who they used to hang out with for how long they used to hang out with. We can get that down. How much do you think Trump knew?
All right, well let's go with what's out there because I like to stick with the research of others that can be verified through private investigators and other. James Patterson, who is the most successful author in this country, if not the world, he writes his first nonfiction book, and it's about Epstein. It's called Filthy Rich because he lives in that Palm Beach area. And this is it's out in 2016. A lot of people ignored it. It's kind of had a resurgence now. You saw him on some shows. But his investigators say, and this is their research, that there was a falling out somewhere around 2002 when Epstein started procuring young girls at the club, and one of them was either a client or someone that worked there, and that was it. He kicked him out. Now, I just did a story yesterday where Michael Wolff in Fire and Fury, and Wolff puts out a lot of Johnny nonsense, a lot of things I don't agree with, but this was before the Epstein craze. And he says that although he was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, they continued to socialize and they battled on a business deal. And that business deal is really what turned sour, and that Trump may have helped start that investigation into Epstein and get it moving initially. Whether that's true, I don't know. But it was a property that Epstein bid $35 million on after taking Trump up there to look at it. And he figured Trump couldn't buy it because at the time, a lot of his stuff was either on the verge of bankruptcy or insolvent, et cetera, and he was hiding those things. So Trump somehow outbid him at 41 and then more than doubled his profits even after renovation. And Epstein was allegedly extremely upset and thought he had ghost buyers. In others, it wasn't Trump's money. So that may have been the falling out. So now let's talk about the relationship before any falling out. What can we prove? Well, all the way back in 2000, we obviously have the quotes about Trump saying he's a great guy and he likes his women. Some are on the younger side, or something to that effect. So he knows he likes young women. Again, a different era in the 80s and 90s. We know that he was on a plane, his own plane, with his wife, Melania. I don't know if they were married at the time. And Ghislaine and Jeffrey were coming on the plane, and he was quoted as saying, you broke the cardinal rule, Jeffrey. You were late for someone else's plane. Now, to me, this not only confirms that Epstein rode on Trump's plane, but that also, more than likely, Trump at some time rode on his plane or some aircraft because he's making a joke about it, right? We now have the video from 1992 where they have the cheerleaders there. Now, maybe the most interesting connection to these guys, other than the partying, the nightlife, and the business, is that it's now being alleged that I think his name's George Haraney, he sets up private parties for, big rich guys, and he says he set up a party of 28 models for just Epstein and Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and this is the first time that he met Melania. So it was basically an audition for Wife 3 or the new relationship. I think that could very well be true. Now, if that's true, whatever. I mean, he's a grown man, she's a grown woman. We're not talking about the abuse of children. But would it be an embarrassment that he met his wife through a private party and Epstein? You bet it would.
Man, yeah, I really don't care, right? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't care either.
Where he met his wife, like, it doesn't really. I mean, the implication for Epstein there, of course, that's key, and I understand where you're coming from with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's a grown woman, so who gives a damn at that point, right? Yeah. So let them be whatever they want to be. Mm-hmm. In 2002, right? That's the current claim of when Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. I've seen different reports in the mainstream that said that this actually took place in 2007. Now, we can't even verify if it took place at all. Like, we can't nail that down.
Yeah.
100.
Well, let me say this. There's also a victim's report, but here's the problem. This is this is where, people that either worship or hate Trump, they can't understand that it has to go both ways. So in the very same paragraph, one of the victims says that, yes, it was indeed over Jeffrey Epstein procuring young girls at Mar-a-Lago. But in the same paragraph, she says that Trump was on the Lolita Express, the plane, with her and Jeffrey Epstein. So, that's two opposing viewpoints when you want to have that cognitive dissonance we talked about. But that's probably the reality of the situation. What year? I don't know that it's specified.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the troubling part. And even if, right, let's say it was in 2002, why would you continue a relationship with somebody after knowing that over in 2004? It's questionable to me. I think we should be digging at that. Now, I don't think Trump, and this is personal, this is my opinion, I don't think he was involved in pedophilia, personally. But did he know about it?
Well, let me
I
say
think
this
that's a more relevant point to hammer out. Go ahead.
The Katie Johnson stuff is out there. You can watch her, and whether you believe her or not, I don't know. Obviously, with a sitting president that I think has done some good things for this country, I certainly do not want to believe that. But what we know that people in elite power structures are capable of, we can't just discount it either. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say I'm giving anybody the benefit of the doubt because I'm reporting on everything, but I also don't want to ignore that it's out there. I don't want to endorse it, but it's not like this girl is somehow less credible than others. And
right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that it's not like they're less credible than others. And I have some really good researchers out there. One goes by Big Fish on Twitter, and he's done some real investigation into it. And he said, "Hey, look, some people would have taken her case."
No, you're 100% right. I always forget about that case when I'm talking about this for some reason. And I think it's a part of it. I'm just not, I can believe that Clinton got into some of this stuff. And I'm not a Trump supporter by any stretch. I didn't vote for him. I'm not a fan, but we've been so conditioned in this community to trash the Clintons because they're such horrible people, in my opinion. And then when we look at somebody like Trump, and he's not exactly the greatest person either, but to go to that stretch, with the amount of women that he has had throughout his time, it's kind of hard to work out in the brain. You understand? Yep. So I'm trying to break it down in my brain and trying to figure it out. And then I always forget that accusation that lingers. 13 years old, that girl.
Yeah.
And she's never pulled it back. And there's accusations that she was threatened, and that's why she kind of eased up on the civil lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of shrouded in mystery, but I don't want people to accuse me of just turning a blind eye to information that's out there. Mm-hmm. So I'm not endorsing it, but hey, we know. I mean, look what happened in the United Kingdom with Jimmy Savile, with the royal family, with the allegations against Sir Edward Heath, the guy that signed them on to the EU, the European Union they're so desperately trying to break away from now. High-level politicians have been involved with this for some time, and we've got to expose it no matter who it is.
All right, brother. Tell everybody what's going on with you otherwise, man. We don't have too much time left, so I want to wrap up, and it appears that I've lost the connection to the network. At least that's what I'm being told.
Well,
which absolutely sucks. Never happened before, Jason, just to give you a heads up.
Oh, geez. What are you going to do?
I'm on here.
Yeah.
But Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm over here on my own, youtube.com/InfoWarrior, doing 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 videos a day. Please subscribe, share this stuff on social media, ring the bell so you get the notifications, and you can watch it live. I could be going live at 9 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 11 a.m. You never know. And I'm doing this with your support all through GoFundMe. So go check me out there. It's Burmis Brigade Media, and we're going strong. We're almost at 30K, and we're onward and upward, my friend.